before we get in the Edmonds stuff, I do want to talk about Diggs a little bit because you were a little bit concerned the last time we spoke, and he talked some more, right? Got into it a little bit more about, playing elsewhere and
his whole brother situation, right?
yeah.
His whole brother said he wanted to play, and listen,
yeah,
I will leave it at this, and then I don't want to talk about it much more. I'll let you have your say.
Mm-hmm.
There is zero possibility, based off of his contract extension he signed last year, that he will not be in Buffalo next year.
Oh, that I'm fully aware of. I don't think anyone. I'm not concerned about Stefan Diggs leaving or being, demanding a trade. And I just don't see it happening. It's just, I don't like it either, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the negative. Like, all of a sudden, like, man, like, I was so behind, and I still am, but I was so behind Stefan Diggs when he came from Minnesota saying, listen, this dude's been nothing but a great teammate. You know what I mean? He's not a me guy. He's a good locker room guy. There was really he wasn't pointing fingers after losses. And it almost feels like right now with the meltdown with him and Allen at the end of the season, even throughout the season on the sideline, we saw a little bit of that, right? Of what they talked about in Minnesota. And I was still taking it for like, hey, he's a competitor. I get it. But I didn't like what he did to Allen at the end of the season. I don't like you showing up your quarterback there. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that he wanted to leave the locker room before anybody else and was forced back by Duke Johnson. I didn't like that. I think that's very unprofessional. I'll be honest with you. I didn't like that he really didn't talk about it to the media afterwards. He's doing everything on Twitter, and he's throwing little hints and jabs about going somewhere else. I don't like it. Yeah, I get it. That's what he does, but it wasn't this. He didn't do it up until this past season. You know what I mean? Like, so this, he had a little fun with stuff in the past, but he never really, I don't think anybody was concerned because he wasn't showing it on the sidelines. Maybe he was doing Twitter fun and poking the bear a little bit, whatever, just have, I think now it's a little kind of concerning because I don't want that. I don't want to start next season with this, like, okay, here we go again, right? Let's just say hypothetically things don't start off great or whatever. Like, is it going to get worse from here? You know what I mean? Is he going to be on the sideline in Allen's face again? Like, we'll see. But I agree with you. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I don't think the Bills just gave him a nice extension, right? He was complaining about the money, and Brandon Beane stepped up right away and said, okay, here we go, right? We're going to pay you. Boom, paid him right away, right? There was no, let's just this out. Like, he took care of Stefan Diggs mighty quick, right? And that was respect from Brandon Beane about, hey, we believe in you. We think you're a great teammate. But it's like now, like after you get paid, after this, the season didn't end so well. Now you're gonna, these cryptic messages on Twitter.
And who knows what's happening behind the scenes. I think the reason why it wasn't nuclear inside of the season is because after that explosion on sidelines when he was was kind of getting on Josh, you saw a picture of them at a game together right after that. So you knew they were still close. You haven't seen anything with them together or him talk about Josh or anything since the season's ended. And I think that's where the concern comes from. But who knows? They can still be real close, and it is what it is. And you can be mad at something else that we're just not aware of. And listen, Diggs has always been outspoken. When it's going good, he's outspoken. When it's going bad, he's outspoken. It's just, he wears his emotions on his sleeve.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just some of the things
I don't like it. I don't like the optics of it. But you know what? He does. Him and the Bills have to figure that out.
Well, I think him and Josh and McDermott need to figure that out, and Ken Dorsey. I think if he's unhappy with his role of last season, because he wasn't unhappy from 2019, 2020, 2021, right? So like all of a sudden now he's like, now he wants out all. Like I don't believe that. I just believe but I do believe that maybe it's weighing down on him, these early exits out of the playoff, you know what I mean? Or not, or no, or just constant mistakes in the playoffs that are costing a Super Bowl, appearance, a win. So maybe he's getting a little fed up with coaching as well, right? Maybe he's getting fed up with some things you don't want to say out loud, like the offensive line not protecting Josh Allen, giving him a time, right? Or maybe he's not happy with the other receivers, right? That he has to do everything. Who knows? Who knows? He's not going to say. He's not going to throw anybody under the bus, but still not a good look to yell at your quarterback on the sideline. When the thing was too in that game, you could clearly tell like every player was just like down, right? Like they were defeated.
They were running doubles and triple coverages on him because no other receiver could do anything.
No, I'm talking about on the sideline. I'm talking about on the sideline. Yeah.
But Diggs came out during the Super Bowl row and was talking about he Jefferson in Minnesota, they just go to him and no matter what. And Josh didn't. He went to Davis or someone else, and sometimes they make the play, but a lot of times they didn't make the play. Like there was a lot of drops this year where guys, normally if they made the play and they moved on, Diggs lets it go. But there was a lot of miscues, drops, bad football from him down the stretch, and it pissed him off. And he's like, "Come to me. I'm not coming to you if there's three guys on you, dude. I'm going to go to the guy who has one-on-one. I'm sorry."
No, you got to. I mean, that's the whole point of having a number one.
But you know what? Justin Jefferson said the same thing.
Open up your offense.
He's like, how do you? Justin Jefferson said the same thing after the Minnesota loss. How do you throw a check down and not give me a chance at the end to make a play?
Right.
All those alpha dog wide receivers come out and say the same thing.
No, I get it. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. But the numbers also show you that Diggs had another 1,400 yard season. It wasn't like he declined in play, his numbers drastically.
Look at the first half of the year versus the second half of the year.
No, I get it. But it also was a tale of two halves too. Like the offensive line got worse, right? Gabe Davis was also got worse and was hurt during that kind of second half run a little bit there. Isaiah McKenzie was nowhere to be found. There's a lot of things that happened.
Josh Allen got hurt, and he
Josh
played
Allen
worse.
got hurt. Yeah, exactly. So
the defense played worse. Like all the Bills, played worse as the season went on. Well, there was you're right. There was a tale of two halves: the first half of the season, and the second half of the season. Second half, the Bills weren't the Super Bowl contenders. They weren't.
No. That started to die off in week 8. You know what I mean? Like where you're like, uh-oh, you're right. Like things aren't looking great, but I still wasn't too concerned because we were still winning games, and that's really what matters at the end of the day. And it's always about that late run, that late push, right? And we were winning, so I wasn't like, hey, they just weren't winning dominant. Nice. We were right.
Yeah,
they weren't convincing wins. They weren't convincing wins. They were just wins, and I'll take it. Not every win's going to be convincing, but
right.
But by the way, so Diggs today, his latest tweet, just to throw this out there for the audience, was he says, one thing people never forget, ... is how you treat them. So whatever that means, don't know. He likes to throw these weird cryptic tweets out there and get everybody. He knows what he's doing because it gets people stirred up. And of course, there's a million comments. Don't leave Buffalo. Come to the Minnesota. Come to Dallas. We will. We'll treat you right. Like it's like, shut up. He's not a free agent, so it's not as simple. I just love fans that don't know football. They think it's just so easy. Come here. Come to Vine. We'll treat you right. How? What are you talking about? He can't.
You know what I wonder? I wonder if some of it also plays into the whole Chad Hall leaving.
I mean, Chad Hall was
because he was really close with Chad Hall.
Yeah, that's a huge loss for them, no doubt about it. Chad Hall leaving.
Like we look at it from how it ended with Josh. Maybe it has nothing to do with Josh. Maybe it has to. Maybe you're right. Maybe it has to do with more of the coaching stuff and what they're doing, and he doesn't like what he's seeing, and
I mean, it's very, very, very possible. And maybe he was just taking his anger out on Josh. Maybe who knows what was said. I mean, he could have been like F what they're calling. Just let's just call what you like. Who knows? He could have said anything on the sideline there. Like who cares what they're calling? Let's just play football. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or he could have been like, hey, don't put your head down. Come on, man. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I wasn't there. I just know that
you just saw the body language.
I also saw Josh never put his head back up.
No.
Right? Like Josh.
So whatever he was saying, he was ignoring.
He was ignoring him. Yeah. Which is maybe smart because if Josh barked back or whatever was going, and then maybe you got something going on. It's a bigger issue. It's a bit, and then coaches get in the middle, players. You don't want that, right? It's a bad look. So maybe it was smart that Josh just kept his head down and let Stefon.
Josh didn't play the best in that final game.
Absolutely not. No, I don't think anybody really played their best. Right. No, nobody.
Nobody did.
Who came to play? Like, I mean, nobody. It seemed like not even the coaches came to coach. It was just miserable. But either way, so that's the Stefan Diggs stuff.